Demont.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Any opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to the next items, we have no presentations tonight. And the next item up will be citizen communication. As a reminder to the audience, this is a period of time that we give anybody from the audience up to 5 minutes to come forward and address an item that they have of interest. This is not a back and forth piece, so we're just here listening during this period of time. My first one is Regan Benson. Regan?
And you mispronounced that. It's actually Regan.
Okay.
Before I begin, I'm going to just leave these here for you. These are gifts for the 7 counselors, if that's correct, I believe. Justice for Timmy Henley pins for you. I'm sure you will feel inclined to wear them. My name is Regan Benson, and I am simply here to provide public comment as a representative for what is right and just. I'm going to read to you 2 statements provided to me, and I implore you to listen very carefully and very thoughtfully. Good evening. I am Joey Dwayne Henley. Thank you for allowing this statement to be read on my behalf. I have been attending your meetings via video, and let me say I'm not impressed. I see the faces of board members not looking like they really care what the people have to say. So please let me quote for you Romans 12, verses 1 through 3. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable to God, which is your reasonable service, and do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is good and acceptable and perfect will of God. For I say through the grace given to me to accept everyone who is among you, and not to think himself more highly than ought to think, but to think soberly as God has dealt to each one a measure of faith. The morning of September 4th, 2018 was a tragic day for my family and I, as my son Timmy Dwayne Henley was shot to death by Westminster police officers Louis Engelberg and Chris Hempelman. Timmy was a good young man of 27 years old, of whom just relocated the end of July 2018 to your city and state of Colorado, opening the new Amazon in Thornton, Colorado, and he chose to live in your community. Timmy had been having mental issues and was hallucinating. He was on top of Andrew Willis's pickup truck that morning, hallucinating, and had said to your police officer, Louis Engelberg, that he'd been chased up on this truck by a wild pack of German Shepherd puppies. And Timmy admitted to Officer Engelberg that he was on some bad trip from cocaine for 3 days. Then the officer did not detain Timmy, but rather sent him on his way, knowing that something was wrong with this picture. Then Officer Engelberg came back later that same day and shot Timmy multiple times, 11 to be exact. Engelberg is not a dumb officer. He knew that he'd been with my son just 2 hours earlier. Officer Engelberg has been on your police force for 28 years, correct? He's a seasoned officer and he knows better. He not only took my son's life, but he put others in danger. This is not something we'd expect from a seasoned veteran police officer. Back to Romans 12. This board has been granted the power to make changes for the good, whether you remember or not why you were selected to serve as a member. You are not greater than the people. And it's in your hands to do the right thing. Reopen this case and bring this officer to true justice, or the next time this may be your child, or even you, yourself. Thank you. Next statement. To Louis Engelberg and Chris Hempelman. You stole my child. You hoped I would go away. You underestimated my love for my son. I will never give up. I will be a voice for Timmy. I am not alone. There are many like me by circumstance united. Together we will be heard. I will never stop fighting for my son. Signed, Timmy's mom. In closing, I speak for myself when I say that there is not a doubt in my mind after reviewing the facts of this case that less lethal force would have saved the life of Timmy Henley. In fact, I'm 100% convinced that no force was necessary to ensure that Timmy and others were being properly served for the intent of public safety. That is the job you are paid to do. Public safety servants. Is it not? Public safety. Your sign out front of the entrance reads in bold, giant letters, public safety. No public safety was shown the day Timmy Henley was murdered by your police officers, and in fact, the opposite was achieved. The events that took place on that day by your police officers presented one of the greatest safety risks to life and liberty, created by your police officers, Louis Engelberg and Chris Hempelman. I don't feel safe in Westminster. I am leaving immediately after this public comment because my safety is at risk being surrounded by any of your police officers. Where are your body cams? Where's your training? But most importantly, where's your accountability?
Thank you, ma'am. Your time is up.